Breeding and reproduction of Australian Budgerigars. Budgerigars, budgies, are relatively easy to breed in captivity when their living conditions are ideal, and both the male and female are healthy. Understanding the breeding process is essential for responsible pet ownership and ensuring the well-being of both the parents and the chicks. Breeding age and sexual maturity. Budgerigars generally begin breeding around 6 months of age, but they should be at least 1 year old for optimal health during reproduction. Younger birds may not be physically mature enough to handle the stresses of reproduction, as they need to be fully developed and strong enough to care for their eggs and chicks. Males reach sexual maturity between 6 to 12 months, while females may take slightly longer. Environmental factors such as diet, climate, and seasonal changes can also influence the timing of breeding. Breeding season and triggers. In the wild, budgerigars breed in response to seasonal rainfall and the abundance of food. In captivity, pet owners can simulate these conditions by providing longer daylight hours, triggering hormonal changes in the birds. During the breeding season, budgies often engage in courtship behaviors such as singing, dancing, and feeding each other. Compatibility of breeding pairs. Before breeding, ensure the pair is compatible. A healthy male and female, both in peak health and free from diseases, are essential for successful breeding. A compatible temperament between the birds is also important, as stress can hinder reproduction. Males typically have a bright blue cere, while females' cere is brown or beige, especially when they are in breeding condition. Creating a suitable breeding environment. Providing an appropriate environment is crucial for successful breeding. Budgies need a nest box where they can lay their eggs, which should be made of natural, safe materials such as wood. The box should be clean and large enough for the birds to enter and exit, with soft nesting material like shredded paper or hay. The breeding cage should have ample space for the birds to fly and move, with perches and toys to keep them active. The breeding process. Once a pair is ready to mate, the male will court the female with singing and feeding. If the female is receptive, she will allow mating. After mating, the female will lay between 3 to 6 eggs, usually one every 1 to 2 days. The eggs incubate for approximately 18 days, with the female typically doing most of the incubation, while the male assists by bringing food. If a female lays eggs without a mate, the eggs will be infertile. In this case, owners should remove any unfertilized eggs to avoid stressing the hen. Chick hatching and early care. After around 18 days, the eggs will hatch. The chicks are born blind and helpless, relying on their parents for food. The female regurgitates food for the chicks, providing the necessary nutrients for their growth. Both parents feed the chicks a protein-rich diet until they are strong enough to eat independently. At around 4 to 5 weeks, the chicks start leaving the nest and exploring their surroundings. They still rely on their parents for food, but will gradually begin eating on their own. Weaning and independence. By 6 to 8 weeks, the chicks should be fully weaned and able to fly and socialize independently. At this point, they can be separated from their parents, though some owners may choose to keep them together longer for socialization. It's important to ensure they are moved to a safe environment for continued development. Breeding considerations. Breeding should not be too frequent to ensure the female's health. Ideally, there should be a break of 6 months to a year between breeding cycles to allow the birds to rest and recover. Monitoring the health of both parents and chicks is essential throughout the process, watching for signs of illness, stress, or poor feather condition. Conclusion. Breeding budgerigars can be a rewarding experience, but it requires careful preparation. A healthy environment, good nutrition, and regular health checks are key to ensuring the successful reproduction of budgies and the well-being of both the parents and their offspring. Responsible care and attention are essential for breeding budgies in captivity,